Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Bannon or Airspeed Prime from Avatar The Last Airbender Online.com, and today I'm here to start a new possible series of videos. It will all depend on me continuing these. If the first one is received well, it's going to be episode commentaries of Avatar The Last Airbender. So obviously this one is going to be 101 The Boy in the Iceberg. The reason I'm doing episode commentaries is because I'm from Ireland and we get the UK DVD box sets, and there's not many special features on there. I think out of the whole 3 seasons there's only about 4 or 5 episode commentaries on the episode, and I am really interested in episode commentaries, so I just decided that, like, why don't I do some for some of the episodes, and so that's what these will try to do. I know I won't be able to kind of give the sort of insight into the behind the scenes of Avatar: Last Airbender like Mike, Brian, or any of the voice actors would be, but hopefully this me doing the commentaries will I'll try to look at some connections between the episodes, look more deep in the themes of the series, point out maybe some cool bits of trivia throughout the episode. Hopefully I'll try not to be too obvious, something that's really clear by watching the episode. But hopefully it'll be interesting at least. So if you want to listen to this commentary synced up with the episode, here's how to do it. First, start your DVD, press play on 101 The Boy in the Iceberg, and then when I say play, which I will in a few minutes, you press back on your DVD remote and that'll restart the episode again. And then you'll press play on this to start the commentary track. So stop your DVD now and be ready to press back when I do the countdown. So 3, 2, 1, play. So here we are with episode 101 of Avatar The Last Airbender, The Boy in the Iceberg. The first thing to note is the opening bending montage. The characters we see are Aang, Azula, Avatar Roku's earthbending teacher, Sud, and Master Paku. It's just interesting to see that we see these characters in the first episode that appear later. Azula Season 2, Master Paku 118, Sud 306. And then we go straight into the opening montage, which is the extended one for the first episode. It's really good in that it explains what the Avatar is. It shows the air temples burning. We just see how bad the war is. All the men of the Southern Water Tribe have to leave in order to make any difference in the war. That shows you how small the Southern Water Tribe is. Sokka has been pretty much left to protect the whole tribe. We're introduced straight into Katara's hope, and then we see Aang is not there on the little rock overlooking the world, but he is in the rest of the episodes, which is a great piece of continuity between the episodes. This opening panning shot here of the ice of the Southern Water Tribe is very well done, showing the amazing animation of the show. It also introduces us straight into isolation, rather than just putting us straight into the biggest city in the Avatar world. Tons of bending, tons of action everywhere. It's just a brother and a sister out fishing, trying to help their tribe. We see Sokka's quite cocky, he thinks he's a really, really good warrior, when we find out later that he's not actually that good, but he tries. We see Katara do the first piece of bending in the actual show, and as we find out later, she has no training for this. She has learned this all by herself, and she's quite good actually at it, but she lacks some control. We see straight away that Sokka is a skeptic of bending anything spiritual. And the brother sister relationship is quite good. It's really realistic in that, like, you can tell that they like have argument from time to time, but they do like each other for most of the time. And then here's a callback to well, here's the first time we see something that will be explored in episode 115, Bottom of the Water Tribe. Sokka steering the canoe through like ice field. In Bottom of the Water Tribe, we see he does this task that is meant to show that he's become a man by steering it through the rocks in that episode. But here he fails in doing it through the ice, showing growth from this journey that he takes. We see straight away that Sokka is a bit of sexist, thinks only men could be warriors and do sort of work. And then Katara actually calls him out on that, says the word sexist, which shows straight away that the show is not your regular kid show. It's not SpongeBob SquarePants. It's going to deal with these serious themes. Like, straight away we're introduced to war. We can tell this rant has been building up a very long time. And that waterbending strength depends on emotion, which I think is explored very well in the movie The Last Airbender. Despite what you may think about it, it actually deals very well with the kind of philosophy behind waterbending. And coming back to my point about isolation, here we're introduced to this kind of barren, desolate tribe, and this is where the Avatar that's been lost for 100 years is discovered. Katara's hope suddenly appears in this. See Aang in the Avatar state. It's just such a great shot. Just like a mystery of glowing eyes, glowing tattoos. We're not quite sure yet if this is the Avatar. We sort of have a suspicion, and I think Katara does too. And another great thing showing the animation, how the air, we see the air kind of explode out as she cracks through the ice sphere. We see the water ripple, the amazing light shoot up. And here's the first time we see Prince Zuko. We see the contrast between everything blue and white from the Southern Water Tribe, and then suddenly kind of grey, black, metal, red armor, fire. He's presented to us as sort of the villain of this show. And there's some nice symbols there. We see Iroh putting the air tile over the fire tile, relating to Aang Zuko. We see that Iroh is not named in these first episodes. And his character is slightly different, as we see later. We again see Sokka protecting his sister, as that was Hakoda's mission to him as he left to go out to fight in the war. So this is what drives Sokka throughout the series, protecting Katara, becoming a better warrior to prove himself to his father. Katara's journey is about hope, which he finds here in Aang. We see Katang straight away, especially on Aang's side here. He instantly likes her. Aang's fun and playful character coming straight out, like pretty much the first thing he says. the introduction of Appa is also really well done. Just the way the shots are taken, you don't see the full extent of Appa, you just see it from Aang's perspective. Showing just how big and powerful Appa is. Appa can lift Aang up with his tongue. They do a great job of keeping Sokka's character throughout this episode, where he's skeptical to like almost everything that he's not used to. Flying bison, bending. That is a great shot. Aang's grin. And this is just such a great way to introduce airbending. Like rather than Aang just doing like a move in a fight later on to discover it, you discover the true Aang sneezing, which is just such a clever way to introduce it. And that little line, the way Aang thinks of this as nothing, that he just flew 20 feet in the air. Isolation again. Sokka wants to argue, but he realizes he's beaten. He has to take the red Nappa. The way the music kind of builds up here to something epic, the first flight of Appa through the series, and then it switches to this like sailing music. It's just such a like great moment in the soundtrack. And not being very discreet here, looking straight at Katara. Iroh's line here, "A man needs his rest," is also a great bookmark to the series, the first season for Zuko. He says it here in the first episode, and Zuko doesn't take the advice of taking a break. But in the finale, after he's kind of floating out of the Northern Water Tribe, we see he does take his advice there, which shows Zuko's growth throughout from episode 1 to episode 120. And here we see Katara kind of asking Aang, kind of suspicious, like does she think Aang is the Avatar here? And that little kind of grimace on Aang's face, as he knows, kind of like, okay, I know what like I left. I need to. Just everything that went into his decision to leave after he found out he was the Avatar. This is a great flashback scene we see through a dream. It's sort of kind of out of context. How did he get here? But we find out how he ended up in the ice. We see the Avatar state here. We see here that he can waterbend, which we see in a few minutes. He says he can't waterbend. I showing some kind of info on the avatar state as a kind of defensive mechanism. That shot there is showing us just how small the whole village is. Like, even if the men were there, it would still be tiny. It shows exactly how bad the Fire Nation assaults on the Southern Water Tribe have been. Aang's first sign that he may be the last Airbender left. See, everyone's kind of excited by the entrance of Aang into their tribe. He's bringing fun back to them, something they haven't had in ages, as we find out through Katara later. The Yang Chen music that plays as he's airbending really shows off the playful side of airbending, which is testament to the track team's work on this series, that the music is really always perfect for what's happening on the screen. We see kind of like that Katara instantly puts all her hopes on Aang. She thinks he can teach her bend every bending, showing that she doesn't know that much about bending. She thinks any bender can teach any type of bending. And here's the thing I was saying about kind of Iroh's character being a bit different. He's quite kind of harsh on Zuko here when he's teaching him firebending. The breath of fire that he teaches him here comes up so many times throughout the series for Zuko, showing Iroh's influence on him as more of a father figure than Ozai. Like, it saves him in the Southern Water Tribe a few times. Northern Water Tribe. And then we see it again later in the Boiling Rock when Zuko's put in the cooler. So it's used so many times. And we see here how seriously Sokka takes his job to kind of protect the Southern Water Tribe. He's trying to be the commander of all these kids. He's trying so hard, but like, they're just kids. They don't know why they're there, really. They're more interested in the fun that Aang has brought to the Southern Water Tribe. And then here is our first kind of insight into how long has Aang been in that iceberg. He's just like, he doesn't know anything about this war. And that also comes up multiple times throughout the series. Aang saying he has a way with animals, when he doesn't quite have the way with animals. as seen in his tale in The Tales of Bossing say, he's not actually that great with animals. Once again showing just how bad the situation is in the Southern Water Tribe. One waterbender, one quote warrior, some nice bit of universe building there. Again showing the isolation of the Southern Water Tribe. They haven't had contact with their other tribe, where they would have been like close in the past. We later find out they are. Aang as an air nomad, to him, traveling across the world is nothing to him when Katara, being from the Water Tribe, family is so important to her, being around her family. So it's a massive thing for her. And then we see, just note on the animals of Avatar. They could have gone down the route of just using regular, like, Earth animals, or they could have made up complete, like, fantasy animals. But instead they went down this really unique route of just combining two normal animals together and like just calling them like penguin otter. The line there from Katara, and she's forgetting that she is a kid. She's had to grow up so fast since the death of her mother. All the responsibilities she now has as being one of the older kids in the tribe. And this is kind of like a really shocking moment of this episode. That everything's, especially in the Katara, Sokka, Aang storyline, has been fairly upbeat. You know, they've discovered him, he's brought fun back to their tribe. And then suddenly, there's like the hint here that like the war is so present. Big Fire Nation ship right there. And we see how this ship got here in the episode The Puppet Master by Hama. Aang just wants to explore it. But Katara knows that like she's not meant to be there. But Aang uses the fact that she wants to be a bender sort of like as a tool to make her come with him. Just how quiet the music is. It shows you like how the Fire Nation is kind of ruthless. All the instruments of war, the weapons, while it's really bright kind of out in the Water Tribe and really dark in here. Aang realizes right here that he has been in that ice ball for 100 years. That it hits home that pretty much all of his friends, everyone he knew, is dead by now. But he's not quite sure. He thinks that like his people will still be alive. I can show him how much he likes Katara. He is happy to have met her like after only a few hours. And this is a weird moment here. That there's just randomly a tripwire in the middle of a room in the ship. They are in the effectively the bridge of the ship where the captain would be. So you have to wonder, like, does he have to step over this tripwire every time he walks into the bridge of the ship, or does it kind of activate when the ship kind of goes aground, is captured or something? We see Zuko's amazing eyesight here. That what is not that difficult a image to see. He thinks that he's 112 still. This is a great way to end the first episode. It really presents Zuko as the villain of the whole series right here. That he's found them. He knows where they are. He's going to confront them in the next episode. Really amazing setup for the next episode. We've seen the titles there. That Uncle Iroh is not even mentioned as Uncle Iroh in the credits. It's just Uncle, showing that they maybe weren't quite sure of how they were going to go through with his character for the whole series. Episode 3 gets it perfect though. They know exactly where they're going with him by episode 3. So that has been my first commentary. Please tell me if you liked it. Would you like me to do more? I apologize if I was kind of like stuttering a bit through that. This is pretty much was my first time speaking like 22 minutes straight on camera, and I'm used to kind of like being able to instantly edit stuff, but I think it went reasonably well. Hopefully it has like helped to see some of the little connections between the episodes here. The first 2 episodes are fairly obvious with like what they're about. There's not too many things to discuss. But I think episode 3 there's a lot to discuss. Episode 4, pretty much all the other episodes there'll be a lot more to discuss than the opening 2-parter. So please tell me if you want me to continue. I would like to, but if you aren't enjoying them, I don't think that there's any need for me to do them. So please comment.